Welcome back to our classroom piano lessons on the web. Your piano teacher, Tim, here. Hopefully, everybody's having a great night. I know I'm doing pretty well, depending on how things will work tonight. YouTube was kind of broken earlier, and then it's been acting kind of weird off and on ever since. So be prepared for anything. Hopefully, the stream will start here in a couple of seconds. You know, you can only dream. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Sweet. All right. It's working. Yes, I love it when stuff works. Don't you? It's so rare. Okay, anybody in the chat, feel free to say hello. Let me know how you're doing. We'll get started here around 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Alex D, hello. D.O.D. Brito. Hello, Barbara's back once again. Hello, Barbara. How you doing today? Glad to see and hear from you again. And hopefully everybody else is having a great day. Today I changed the subject mainly because the book review I was going to do, I looked through the books I had and I couldn't find it. So I have to order another copy. I may have another copy somewhere I just can't find. So I had to change the topic for tonight. But luckily, it was one I had already written out that I wanted to do a few weeks ago, and something came up and I wasn't able to do it. So that's what we're doing tonight. So if you're a little confused on why the topic's different, that's why. But I think this one's going to be very, very good, very, very beneficial for you to know whether or not you should practice first thing in the morning. Okay, and the stream quality is looking pretty good. All right, great. Okay, I'm just going to wait here for another minute or so. I guess while some other people are coming in, I'm going to start up the Facebook stream, and we're going to see how that goes. So just give me a second. Hey, Rich is here. How you doing, Rich? Glad to have you with us. And, yeah, so let me just get the Facebook stream going. Hello, students. Welcome back to our classroom piano lessons on the web. Your piano teacher, Tim, here. And today we're going to talk about whether or not you should practice first thing in the morning. I did it for a few weeks, and I'm going to let you know my findings and how I felt and whether I felt it was worth it or not. But at first we are going to kind of give you guys a couple of minutes to come in here, ask some questions here on YouTube. Feel free to let me know on Facebook. Actually, on Facebook, just leave a comment, and then later I'll get to that. Yep, so this is the new house, Rich. This is the new office. It's still not complete, though, because what I still need to do is I really need to figure out what to put over here. Well, I know what I'm going to put over here. The problem is I ordered it weeks ago. I think I'm going to have to cancel the order. It's just been in like shipping limbo forever, and they keep telling me, oh, it's going to come this day. Oh, no, it'll come this day. I'm just going to cancel it, see if I can get another one. It's going to be pretty neat, though. It's more like what I'm going to do with it. I don't want to say too much about it, but all right. And then I'd also like to paint the window over here white around the edge rather than that brown, so it matches the trim. It does need a new kitty. I agree, but I'm not going to get one right away, but I will get one relatively soon. You can get a, what is it? Hello, everybody would like to know where I can buy the piano t-shirt. Yeah, let me get, you can get it from my website if you go to the community page, but let me, just give me a second here, guys. Let me do this so I don't accidentally, like, log into something and you see my password. That would not be good. Okay, here we go. So there are a number of piano lessons on the web, shirts and hoodies to choose from. We've got both men's and women's now. So let me give you guys a link to this. Link to t-shirts. And also by buying a t-shirt, you also help the channel out as well. Hey, Gary's back again. Glad to hear from you, Gary. And then we got Chris and Barbara back again. I think many students accidentally play an obscure key. It was B flat and an F sharp. All right, guys, I'm going to get started here since I know some of you are waiting for the lesson. And then I'll go through and catch any maybe people that have come in here the last couple of minutes. So let me bring up, what I'm talking about today. I've been practicing every morning, first thing almost after coffee, of course, for the last 2 weeks, actually longer than 2 weeks. Let me do that again. I've been practicing every single morning, first thing after coffee, of course, for the last 2 weeks, actually a little bit longer than that. And today I'm going to let you know my findings, whether I think you should do it or maybe you shouldn't. Your piano teacher, Tim, here from Piano Lessons on the Web. And I'm just going to kind of like walk you through how I set this up, maybe what my thinking was behind this, how I was going to do this in a way that made sense for me. So the first thing I did was I decided to play pieces that I enjoyed playing rather than something really, really thick and heavy like a Chopin nocturne or something like that, or Rachmaninoff or something like that. And the point of why I did that, especially at first, is I didn't want to make the morning practice seem like a chore. So I actually recommend you follow suit with me if you decide to do the morning practice, because it's all about attitude. And if you have a poor attitude about what you're doing, you're not going to do it for very long. So let me walk you through it. Okay, let me see what we got here. First thing I noticed from like days 1 to 4 or so is that my hands were sluggish. I had, not a lot of trouble, but especially like first thing in the morning, I just really had trouble like getting to the next note in time. Although the Moonlight Sonata is not the best example because it goes kind of slow. But what I noticed is after about day 4, my hands started to loosen up a bit. And that actually kind of permeates throughout the day. Now when I practice later in the day, my hands just move a little bit better. I think just that first, bit of piano practice in the morning gets you warmed up. It's like doing warm-ups before an exercise. Okay, let me see if I missed anything for days 1 to 4. So expect some sluggishness if you haven't been practicing regularly, especially. But you will get over it after a few days, most likely. Okay, days 5 to 10 started to get a lot better. My hands really started to loosen up. I was playing my scales, starting to add in a lot of the rudimentary things like scales, cadences, that's what they're called, arpeggios, and all the like, in addition to the pieces that I was practicing that I like to play. So what I'm doing is, as I'm getting used to this morning practice, I'm slowly layering back my normal practice things that are a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier. And like I said, it's all about getting over that hump of, oh man, this is a chore, waking up and doing this first thing. You want it to be something, more of something you look forward to than something you dread. And I also found that when I practiced in the morning, it made it more likely for me to practice later in the day, which was strange because the whole point of it for me was to practice first thing in the morning so that in case I didn't get a chance to practice later on in the day, that's one of the big benefits, by the way, you get it in no matter what. But what was weird is I noticed is I was actually more motivated to practice later in the day. And I think it's just, you're thinking about piano earlier on. It's more in your consciousness. And so you're more likely to remember when you get home from work. Or maybe you're just more likely to do it. Maybe you always remember and you just put it off. But I found that I actually made more time later in the day to practice as well, which was actually something I did not expect. Okay, I'm going to go, before I continue the lesson, I want to go to the chat really quick, only because if there's a problem with the quality or anything, I want to know if there's like a mistake going on, but I think we're good. Because I'd hate to get through the whole thing and then have it fall apart. All right, here we go. Okay, days 11 to 14, one thing I noticed is, at least for a couple of those days, maybe around day 11 or 12, I actually regressed, which, believe it or not, happens. And what I mean by that is, all of a sudden, I was less good. I had been making progress every day, feeling good about it, and then all of a sudden, the wheels felt like they fell off, and I felt like I was back to 2 or 3 weeks before on my scales, on every of the pieces I was working on. And that, I want to let you know that that's normal. I have encountered that before. And that can be due to a lot of things. Maybe you didn't sleep well that night. Maybe your brain just isn't in that kind of mode for the day. Or maybe it's just something with the human brain and it needs more time to process. I don't know. But I did find that after those few days, I got back. Actually, I was real frustrated. But then the next day I came back and it was better than ever. So if you have a couple of days in there, or even a single day where you're struggling and you're not as good, don't worry about that. That's totally normal. You just try to keep yourself from getting too frustrated. Frustration, by the way, is the end of your piano playing career, or at least too much, because then you'll start to hate it and you're not going to want to do it anymore. So just be prepared that sometimes you might get less good. But you just got to keep moving forward when that happens. And I'm still doing the morning practice to this day, still finding the benefits. Like I said, the one advantage I did not expect was I was actually more motivated to practice later in the day. Also, I just feel more responsive overall when I do practice later due to the fact of warming up. So we've already went through the advantages. What about the disadvantages? Well, the one I can really think of is that we're not all morning people. You may, no matter how enjoyable you make it, you might just hate practicing in the morning. It might be the way you are, but I would definitely give it a chance for a few weeks, see if you like it, see if you notice some of the other things that I had mentioned. Also, not all of us are in a position to practice in the morning. That's like, you look at people who exercise 5 o'clock in the morning, you're like, how in the world do they do that? And most of the people that say that about those people are people that have kids, jobs. You have to be at work at like 8 o'clock in the morning, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So how would you ever have the energy to at least practice piano? Well, you know what? You can kind of add in the micro practice session strategy I've talked about in previous lessons, where you just fit in little 15-minute sessions here or there, half an hour. You don't have to spend 2 hours in the morning practicing. I did an hour in the morning, and then I usually do an hour later on, or maybe 2 hours if it's a good day, but to be honest with you, another hour later on. Okay, let me make sure I'm not missing anything. So if you have the luxury in the morning to practice, I highly recommend it. I think you're going to find mostly benefits out of it. If you have a lot of things going on in your life, like kids and things like that, you might not be so lucky, but see what you can do. See if you can even get an extra 10, 15 minutes in and see how that helps your overall progress. And I want to know in the comments, by the way, if it makes you more motivated to practice later in the day, or whether that was just me noticing that. All right, I'm going to check in with everybody, say hello to some people. I hate morning people and mornings and people. Well, that's a problem, Gary. Let's see here. Let me say hi to some people coming in. Hey, Nathan is back, by the way. Nathan says it's good to be back. I agree, Nathan. It's great to have you back. Gary Cook's, of course, here. Chris Magsino says, hello, everybody. Would like to know. All right, we already answered that about the T-shirt. And then Larry from Syracuse is here. Larry Pearl. Welcome out, Larry. Glad to have you with us again. At least I'm pretty sure you've been with us before. My mistake if you haven't been. Linda says, Linda, not Lyndon Johnson, that was the president. Linda Johnson says, how long does it take to play River Flows in You by Yuruma? That's a difficult question only because I don't know what level you're currently at. If you've never played piano before, it might take you a couple of months. It might take you quite a few months depending on how fast of a learner you are to work up to something like that. There's also the whole thing of which version of River Flows Within You. Is that what it is? Yeah, River Flows In You. I always want to say Within You. Flows In You. What version? Do you want to do an easier version just to kind of like say you're able to play it, you can get the melody and maybe the chords down, or do you want the full version? Which would obviously take you a little bit more time, but you would feel more accomplished learning that. So there's a lot of questions beyond that question. I really can't answer it because it's based on a lot of variables that have to do with you. Rich has a question. Tim, I have a question. I know that in 4/4 time signature, the beats are played strong, weak, medium, weak. Okay, yep. Strong, weak, yep, medium, weak. How do you play them when there are 8th or 16th notes? How do you know to play strong or weak? It is my understanding that only the attack note is accented. So let me go here to what Rich is talking about, and then I'll get back to, actually, I'm done the main part of the lesson that I wanted to do today. So I'll answer some questions, and then there's some other things I want to talk to you guys about, of course. And I'm glad we could do the live stream tonight because YouTube was being really weird earlier. You probably saw my Facebook post about it. Okay, so Rich's question is in 4/4, and if you have like, I don't know, let's just do straight 8th notes, make things easy. And normally, if you don't know, beats 1 are beat 1 is accented, beat 2 is like a weaker kind of accent. Beat 3 is like a medium accent. There's no way for me to write. Well, I don't know. I guess I'll just write strong. S for strong, M for medium, and then W for weak with no accent. So now Rich's question was, do you need to make at least I believe your question is, do you need to make these accented as well? It's my understanding that you do not. It's always the attack note on the beat because that's the driving force behind the whole thing. So if you have 4 quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm over accenting a little bit just to show you. Now with this, you're going to do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and kind of like an Indian drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just like that. So you don't have to do double accents or an accent on both of those 8th notes. Same thing with 16th notes. You're just going to accent the first one because that's your attack on the beat. That's the whole point. Hi from Malaysia. Hello from America. That's Salasai, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Welcome out, and welcome out everybody new and returning. So happy to hear from you and have you in our class. Always feel free to come back and join us again. Follow us on Facebook and all the social medias so you get an update of when we're meeting and what we're talking about. Actually, what I recommend you do is you go on to the good old website, pianolessonsontheweb.com, which I'll talk more about in a few minutes. And you want to go and click on community. And the first thing I want to tell you is if you fill out this form, you're going to get an email reminder 30 minutes before we meet. I've been pretty good at remembering to do that. And then if you look down here, here's the calendar of what we're talking about for like the rest of the month. And then probably what you're going to see is, in the next couple of weeks, next couple of days, you're going to see it updated for the month of December. So I just want to let you know, because if you're new here, you're going to want to know about that. Okay. Hey, Sue, Mariner's here. I'm using a new laptop, and it lets me talk to you. Hello. All right, glad to hear from you, Sue. I had singing teachers in Cambria, Max and Andrea Orwin. A sometime visitor to their house was Roger Woodward. I've heard of him, the concert pianist. Max told me he used to play from 4 a.m. So there you go, a real professional doing it at 4 a.m. You know what would be amazing? Like, if you're in music school or you're a professional pianist and you need to practice 4 to 8 hours a day, do from like 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then do like another one from like 9 to like 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then it's done. That's a great one, but that would be hard to do. Hey, Piano Man's here. How you doing, Piano Man? Glad to have you with us, of course. We got Gary. Gary says, oh yeah, hate morning and mornings and people. Dorota is here. Welcome out. Happy to have you with us again. We got Uncle Gregory. How you doing, Uncle? We got Lapis Blue. Welcome out, Lapis. Jerry Gormley. What software apps do you use? I use something called StaffPad to write in. Go for the next question, Rich, and I'll get to it in a second. But it's called StaffPad. That's what I use to write in the notes. The obscure key I was talking about is when you mix up the key of G and the key of F. Okay. Wait, let me go back to that because that was like in the beginning. You said that. I think many students accidentally play an obscure key. It has a B flat. Oh, okay. You know what I come across, where I come across that is if I'm playing a piece in the key of G, and then immediately I'm playing in the key of F, because what trips a lot of students up is the key of G. This is what Barbara's saying, I believe. Key of G has 1 sharp, F sharp, but the key of F has 1 flat, B flat. So I think they get the F mixed up. Like, okay, there's F sharp, but then the key of F has 1, but what is it? So students end up playing something like this. Something like that. Okay, dinner over, dishes in washer. Sorry, I'm tardy, says Randy. That's okay, Randy. Glad that you're here, though. Hello, Tony. Welcome out. We got a lot of new students today. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because we have new lessons coming out all the time and live streams, and you don't want to miss out. Miss a beat, as Adria likes to say. All right, Rich, let her rip with that question. Do you use an Apple iPad? No, I do not. I have an iPad. I haven't used it in like three years. I use Windows devices almost exclusively. I use Apple whenever I have to test my website, which luckily nobody with an Apple device has had a problem with my website in a long time, which is great. But I used to do it to test my website. Mr. Tim, how do you feel about playing in C flat major and A flat minor? And tenor clef? I feel very badly about that, Lapis. Hey, Carol Etchoff is here. Welcome, Carol. When you see dynamics like sforzando, does that apply to both clefs? Usually, well, if it's written in the middle, which usually is, I would say yes. I know the bass clef is supposed to be played softer than the treble, which, well, it depends, right? So if you have your 99% of the time, you're right, where if you have the melody in the right hand and you have a sforzando, you do want to play out the right hand louder than the left hand. But if the melody is in the left hand instead, which only happens 1% of the time, I would say, then you're going to want to accent a little bit more on the left hand. Let me see if I can find you an example. I know the Pathetique Sonata has them, and I'm pretty sure, at least with that one, the way it's written, it's with both clefs. Let me find this for you, and we'll go from there. This is my folder that's not very organized. Here it is. No, that's a forte piano, which is pretty similar because you hit it. I think sforzando is just a little bit louder when you hit it. Okay, so see here. Oh, you can't see anything I'm doing. All right, here we go. So see here in this measure right in the middle, at least I'm pretty sure you can see that, how there's a sforzando. So you're going to hit that chord, and then, but you're going to hit it. I don't even know if I'd play I would play both hands in this case because they're all chords pretty much. I don't know, I might play the left hand a little bit more because that kind of has a melody of its own, but there's a melody up here too. I would actually sforzando both of them the same, which means you're going to hit it harder, and then the next, as you can see, luckily they give you a piano right there. The next chord is going to be softer, so loud, soft, and then the rest soft. I should go back to playing that one. That one was really fun. But difficult to learn the whole thing, for sure. So yeah, I would do it with both clefs. Arabesque, which you know what? I was about to watch that video you posted the other day, and then something happened, and I didn't watch it. But I saw it pop up on my suggested. I'll have to get to that. All right, Arabesque. Or was that the one you did? You did one. I think that is what you did. Bergmuller. Is it Mueller or is it Bergmuller? I think it's Bergmuller, right? Or is there also a Mueller version? No, I think it's Bergmuller. Bergmuller. I don't know if I'm saying that wrong or not. Probably. Okay, this looks like an easy version of it, although I haven't seen too many versions that are that different from this. So I'm looking for a sforzando. It might not be here. Nope, I don't see one there. Let me try, Rich, if you give us a link, if you have one, that would be perfect. Yeah, unfortunately, the one that's coming up here does not have a sforzando. Let me just do this. Hold on. See, the problem is... Wait, hold on. All right, hold on. And then I have to wait 15 seconds. So let me go back to the chat here. Okay, and then I'll get to some other questions after I finish Rich's here. When the dynamic is in the middle, it applies to both clefs. Yeah, I heard that dynamics only apply to the melody or treble clef. It's my always understanding that if it's in the middle of the clef, but it's not towards any of the other clefs, that if it's directly in the middle, that applies to both. That's my understanding of it. But if it's in the middle, it's like slightly up, then it's going to be treble. It's slightly down bass. If it's written all the way down where the bass clef is, obviously it's going to be just bass. No, you can definitely have dynamics that apply to both. I'm pretty sure about that. All right, let me download this thing, take a look. Maybe we'll answer the question here. No, this is not it. Man. Wait, what the heck? Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, let me get you. That's not it. There it is. All right. I think this is it, right? Yeah. Here. You're talking about right here. Yeah, see, the thing is it's in the middle, but it is a little bit higher. Like, see over here right here, this forte. You see how that forte, at least to me, is clearly more towards the treble clef? I would definitely, or whatever the notes are, I would definitely apply that to your right hand. Although your right hand melody should always be playing louder than your left hand no matter what. Yeah, and like see how the accent here isn't really in the middle? It's in the middle of the staff, but it's really towards the top. I'm a little confused with the sforzando. I feel like that's a little bit more towards the top. So I would still play both of them a little bit louder, but I would play your right hand louder than your left hand there. But that's normal, just convention of playing out your melody louder. Let me try to find one. Yeah, and then see how it's when it's on bass clef. Usually with bass clef, it's not, the dynamics aren't like really in the middle, but towards the downside. They're really on the bottom, usually, of the clef. I've never seen dynamics written on the top of the treble clef. I'm sure there's reasons behind it. But yeah, and see how this one's directly in the middle of this piano here. So I would apply that to both. However, I would still play out the right hand louder than the left hand. So it looks to me as if it's directly in the middle, it applies to both with normal, playing out the melody. And then if it's up towards the treble clef, it's just the treble clef. Because I've seen both. I've seen them right in the middle. Like the sforzando, I feel like that's almost in the middle, but I would say it's a little bit towards the treble. And see how when the treble notes get real high, I feel like that's an editing mistake, actually, because I don't feel like the accent should ever be in the staff like that. But anyway, usually the higher up the note is, too, the higher up that will move. So I would say most of the time they are written for the treble clef. But just keep in mind, if you find one directly in the middle, that's probably going to apply to both. Some of them have to apply to both, though, because like see this piano here. I want to see what's going on right before this piano. Okay, diminuendo. Okay, it's not exactly what I was looking for. But say right before this piano here, right, there was a forte, and then all of a sudden you have this piano in the middle. It wouldn't make any sense to have the piano only apply to the right hand, but still play the left hand forte. So it does apply to both. I'd say a general rule of thumb is it applies to both, but the right hand will play out a little bit louder. Because like I said, it wouldn't make any sense to it not to apply to both in a lot of cases. Thanks for your help, Tim. You're the best. Thank you very much. How are you? You're a great music teacher. Thank you very much, Night Guardian. I really appreciate that. Oops, late, but I'm here, says Carol. That's okay, Carol. All right, let's see here. I forgot what key I'm in and think I'm supposed to be a sharp or flat, or whoops, there's not. That's true. Barbara brings up a great point. Let me bring up the whole thing here. Barbara brings up a great point where when you're playing in a key and then you play in another key, you really have to think about the key change. Like I said, if I'm playing a G major and then go to F major, I might start to play that sharp there as well. One thing I recommend you do, though, I have a little tip for this, is when you play in a new key, so say I play in G, and then I play in the key of F, the next song. What you do is you play the F major scale first, and that will just kind of get it in your head that you're playing an F major. Now, I find that helps a lot. Not foolproof, not 100%, but it does help. All right, before I get to more comments and questions, I want to talk to you guys about... Wait, hold on. All over the place today. Here we go. If you like my lessons over here on YouTube, chances are you're going to love the courses I have over on my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com. I have over 20 courses designed to help you learn all things that you need to learn piano, which it may include, obviously, playing piano, music theory, improvisation, rhythm, ear training, and so much more that you will need. Anything I felt that you would need to be a well-rounded musician, I have courses for here on the website. And like I mentioned, if you like the YouTube videos, you're going to like these because not only do they include instructional videos like you're used to, they also include notes, worksheets, and sheet music to really help you not only like learn each topic, because on YouTube you watch a video, you might learn about something, but they don't really give you much to practice. I might give you like a little practice assignment, but nothing really major. These are courses all built around introducing a topic to you and then giving you practice assignments on that topic, worksheets on that topic, and then real sheet music to play on that topic. So by the end, you're like, I really get this. I really not only understand the concept, but I actually know how to put it into the practice of what I'm playing, which is what it's all about. Okay, you can read all this on your own. One thing I want to tell you about is that... Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, you can read about this stuff on your own. One thing I want to tell you about are the course packages, because you can get a discount for getting courses in these packs. And if you're a beginner, say you've only been following me for a little while, or maybe you've been following me for quite a few months, and you want a really good, solid foundation to build all your other music knowledge off of, I highly recommend the Beginner's Pack. It has 4 courses: Introduction to Piano Music, Learn to Read Music, Playing the Piano Level 1, and Music Theory Level 1. And if you're curious, you can click on any of these courses, and it'll take you to the course description page, where you can watch a sample lesson, you can see exactly what's covered, and all that good stuff. So check out the packs. I mean, you can sign up for the courses individually, but I don't recommend that as much, mainly because it's going to end up costing you more money. And it's really easy to follow by buying one of these packs, because you buy the pack, and you just take the lessons or take the courses in that order, and it should make a lot of sense that way. Of course, there's Intermediate Pack. A little more expensive, but it includes 9 courses, which is pretty dang good. Advanced Pack, same thing. And then, of course, the all-course access existing and any new courses. I think in 2019, I'm going to go back to developing some new music courses for the website. But so far, there are 23 courses, and the all-course access is the best deal. I want to tell you something, though. I want to be honest with you, that Black Friday is coming up. So I could tell you, oh, sign up right now. It's the best. But what I recommend you do is wait until Tuesday this week, the 21st? I don't know. What day is it? Let me give you next day. The 20th. From Tuesday the 20th to the next Tuesday, the 27th, will be the Black Friday sale. Yes, I know it's longer than Friday, where it's actually going to be the biggest discounts of the year. So these course packs will actually be discounted. Like you're even getting a deal getting them in the packs, but you're also going to be able to get a nice discount on that. So come back on Tuesday, and then you're going to be able to check out that Black Friday sale. Okay, just want to let you guys know about that in case anybody's new here. Is there an app for sheet music? Okay. An app on Apple. You know what? Somebody else will have to help you out with this, Night Guardian, because I'm just not familiar with Apple very much. So I can't really give you a whole lot of suggestions on that. I'm sorry about that. Salahudin says, I'm just a beginner, so I should see and listen and understand the lesson. Thank you. All right. Rich says, it makes a lot more sense now. Thanks for taking the time to help out. You're very welcome, Rich. Tim, I'm going to hire you to play Canon in D. Oops, that's not it. Okay, you can hire me to do that. I mean, I could do it for free, but if you want to hire me, that's perfect. I'm really thinking about doing a video on Canon in D because it's a really good practice piece because it starts out real easy with just that bass line. But then each time that bass line comes back, it adds more and more and more to it. So it's a pretty interesting practice piece. It's interesting to teach students that as well because they'll learn the easier part, and because it builds on slower, they can actually manage the more difficult parts because of that. Because it's not just like bam, like here's all these notes all of a sudden. It's like they practice the first part for a couple weeks, the next part, the next part. So it really eases them in to the more difficult parts. Hey Tim, my cousin plays in Persian pop band Andy Madadian. Andy Madadian. I think I got that now. Check them out. Okay. Do they do song like Hotel California and Stand By Me on YouTube? That's pretty cool. So everybody, after the lesson, or write down Andy Madadian. I'm actually going to write this down. Just give me a second so I can get this down on my notes here. Okay, Andy Madadian band. All right, so I'll check that out when I get a chance. Thanks for letting me know. Chris has posted a link. Chris, let me know what that link is for. Only because I think YouTube might block it. Unless that's the link to Andy Madadian. I'm not going to play it on stream, the link, because if I play another person's YouTube video on stream, that will give me a copyright. I don't think it'll give me copyright strike, but it'll demonetize the video or something. It's just not cool to show other people's content inside of a YouTube video. I know that's generally frowned upon by YouTube, even if whatever's in it is completely fair use. The person's content putting it together, they still have some sort of ownership over that. How good are you at learning music by ear because there are no sheets for this tune? Yeah, unfortunately, let me know what tune it is, because like I said, I'm not going to open that video right now. I'm okay at learning music by ear. Honestly, what I found is that students are... Sorry, I just want to check to make sure everything's good. What I find is that students are either really good at analyzing music and chords and theory and stuff, or they're really good at playing by ear. Very rarely do you find students that are really, really good at both. You do have a lot of students that can do both. I can do both. I'm definitely more on the music reading side, however. Tim, did you learn Kuja's theme? I did play it a few weeks ago, but I didn't get too far into it. I've been learning music recently from Undertale, which is more of a recent video game. It came out like 2015. The music for Undertale is the best, guys. It's like the best music video game soundtrack I've ever heard in my life. But I do want to learn the Kuja theme because it is pretty cool, and some of the other Final Fantasy ones. What are the most common beginner mistakes you see? What do you think, everybody? Jerry asked the golden question. What are the most common beginner mistakes I see? Well, I do have a video on it, and I'll link you to that in a second. But what does everybody think I'm going to say? What do you think? What do you think? If you've been following me for a while, you know that the number one mistake is that students play too fast. It's especially a problem if they're trying to play a piece that they know the sound of already. So say there's a popular piece that you like, that you're trying to learn on piano. The likelihood of the student or yourself playing it too fast is very, very high, because what people try to do is they want it to sound like what they hear on the radio. So they try to play it at full speed. Big mistake. But even if it's not a piece like that, I find generally students, when they get to difficult sections or pretty much just anything, generally they're playing too fast to really process not only the notes, but the dynamics, the articulation, so many things going on in the music, and you need to slow down. You really do. Let me get you this. Megalovania is an awesome song, by the way. Megalovania is good. Wait, what key was it in? It should be in C. The Papyrus's theme is really, really good. I don't have it in front of me right now, though. It can't be better than the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, LOL, the Holy Grail. I think it's better than any Final Fantasy soundtrack ever. Like, I just think it's awesome. Like, the soundtrack to... look it up. Undertale. Look up Undertale OST, which stands for original soundtrack. And it starts out like real slow, but it builds. I don't know, it's so good. It builds up. There are some really, really great songs in there. There's piano pieces in there too, which is pretty uncommon these days for games. Night Guardian says, I liked it by ear, but it is tough. But my piano teacher I went on said I have good ear for music. Then he moved. Well, that's good if you have a good ear for music. Oh, yeah, the beginning mistakes for Jerry. I wanted to get you guys a link to that lesson. You know, if you type in, let me bring you here. You type in mistakes and then the name of the channel, Piano Lessons on the Web. You'll find actually that I've made quite a few lessons here. I made one recently on the rhythm, but I want you to check out this one. I'm actually going to grab a link here for you guys. I wish I knew pain. Whoa. Whoa. Loud. Let me turn that off. Okay, common mistakes learning piano. Let's see here. Rich says, playing really slow makes all the difference. I agree. You have to give your brain and fingers time to make a connection. Once you have it, it becomes easy. I agree. You also need to slow down and figure out fingering. Yeah, writing in your fingering is super important, and figuring out the correct fingers, because using the correct fingering allows you to play at the piano so much more effectively than just using any old fingering. So very important. And then also when you're with the slow practice, even after you've learned a song and you're really good at it and you've played it by memory, go back and play it slow, and you'll find mistakes that you'll be floored that you weren't able to catch before. Okay, and then real quick, guys and gals, I'm just going to give you a link to my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com. And let me, while maybe some last few minute questions come in, let me bring you back to the website. So remember, on the website, if you click on the community at the top, the community tab, scroll down, you'll see what we're going to be talking about. So what we've been doing the last few weeks is we've been having live streams every other week instead of every week. And that just gives me a little bit more time to prepare for them, and then also to edit the videos afterwards. But there's an exception for this next week that I want to tell you. So the day after Thanksgiving, November 23rd, we actually are having another live stream. It's going to be kind of a Black Friday themed lesson, because it's going to be about keyboards I recommend you buy if you want to learn piano, because there's probably going to be some I'm going to try to actually find some Black Friday deals going on if I can. But if not, I'll just kind of talk about what you should look for in a keyboard. What are the top ones I recommend. I did make a lesson on this before, but I think I can make a better one now, because it is a couple years old now, that lesson. And then the Sunday, we're meeting again for great learning resources for beginner piano students. So this is going to include like websites I recommend. I'm going to talk about my courses a little bit in this one. I'm going to talk about books that I recommend that you get. So that one's going to be really good too. So we are meeting again next week. That's the whole point. And then the next week after that, we might take off. But just know that next Friday and Sunday, we are going to have that live stream. All right, guys and gals, and I like to play it by ear. Okay, wait, hold on. Also plays Unchain My Heart, Black Cats, Persian music. Check them out on YouTube, man. Okay. Let me copy this down, this name here, because I cannot reproduce the spelling for the life of me. If you know my two weaknesses in life, I'm going to tell you, like, if you want to defeat me easily, the two weaknesses I have are sense of direction. So drop me off like in the middle of a city somewhere, and I'll never find my way home. And my other drawback is spelling. I can't spell anything. I've always been really bad at spelling. Hey, Ryan's here. I believe you're new, Ryan. Everybody welcome out Ryan to our classroom. Ryan says, hi, Tim. I'm a beginner to sight reading and writing my own scores. So congratulations. That's really cool. I am taking this class in music theory. Okay. Does your material cover in detail how to read and write the colors of music? Well, here's the thing. I would say no. And yes, it depends. I don't talk about the colors of music in the music theory courses. I do talk about how to compose, like why you should choose maybe major chords versus minor chords in certain spots, when to use borrowed chords like secondary dominants. I talk about when to maybe use a little bit of chromaticism, the different types of non-chord tones and things like that. I don't mention it in terms of color, so I really can't say 100% yes that it's absolutely going to be what you're looking for, but I can tell you that I do give you a lot of information in those that have to do with color, which is like, if I'm mistaken, the color in music is like just the general, like you're painting, right? Like you're like, over here I have this like Bob what's his face on PBS, like over here we have the mountains and we're going to use these kind of chords for that, and over here let me look this up to make sure I know what you mean so I can answer your question. Color, I remember they used to use color when I was in music school, but I haven't used it since. Oh, music effect, okay. Oh, the art of combining musical effects with colors. Okay, at least that's what I see here. So I don't know whether you're talking about this color music here, or you're just talking about the general, like how do you make a song that sounds a certain way? Because my music theory courses will help you do that. Night Guardian says, I like Roland D50. My cousin used to use it, and he is now a Yamaha. All right. Yeah, Rolands generally make pretty good pianos. Rich says, do you have any new student stories? Yeah, I have some students right now. Oh, I had a student. Okay. I think this one's pretty good. I had a student named, let me make sure I'm still in frame here. I had a student named Russell. I still have him. He is 6 years old. He might be 7 now. He might have just turned 7. But anyway, he's a little bit hyperactive, but he's a good student. Like it's really rewarding to get him to learn, anything. It's really cool. But one day he's playing, and then we go to the next song, and he goes, I don't think I can play this song. My hand hurts. And I'm like, what? I said, what happened? I said, you were fine just a second ago. And he says this to me, the teacher. He says this, it's none of your business. And I was just laughing my ass off because I just thought it was so funny that I'm like, well, what happened? And he's like, it's none of your business. But it was clear that he was just trying to get out of playing the song. So I thought it was really funny at the time. I was laughing pretty good. You should, Tim, do what he says, man, please. Any tips for a beginner attempting to learn a few Christmas songs? I'm coming out with a video soon on that in December. Let me think of like maybe some things off the top of my head. The number one thing students run into when they're learning Christmas songs is that they get over ambitious. They start in December. They think, oh man, we got 25 days to get ready for Christmas, or they start even now. Like, oh man, we got over a month to get ready. I'm going to learn this really awesome Christmas piece. But what happens as you get closer to Christmas? You get busier and busier and busier. And then what happens is your anxiety levels go up and up and up because you realize that you might not make it in time. Or you're trying to learn too many songs. Oh, I want to learn this song that's really good, and then this song that's really good, and this song. First of all, either do one of the following. Learn fewer, more difficult songs. Or what I recommend, get a book of Christmas carols, which are generally pretty easy. It depends on the versions you're getting. and learn as many of those. Learn like the classics like Jingle Bells and all that. But it depends on what you're going for. Do you want to play for your family where they'll sing along with you? If so, you want to learn the easier pieces. You don't want to learn anything crazy. Like which one's like a little bit harder? Like the do 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 the Charlie Brown one. I can't believe I can't. I'll remember it later. But anyway, if you want to learn something larger scale, maybe for yourself, then I say go for it. Because if you miss the December 25th deadline, you can always just continue working on it as you go into the future. So that's what I recommend. Yeah, I would say go for easier stuff. Learn as many of those as you can, and don't get over ambitious. What else? Honestly, if practice your chords, because chords happen all the time in Christmas carols, and generally the chords are pretty simple, but you want to be familiar with them so when they come up, you're able to play them a lot easier. So those are just two quick tips I have for you right now. All right, bye, Tim. Next time, buddy. Good session. You're very welcome, Piano Man. I see that you misspelled that later on. That's okay. Totally thanks, says Ryan. It's morning here and I missed your class. Got up late. Please cover Christmas songs for beginners. Yeah, I will do that. I'll be making a lesson on that. Oh, Holy Night is an easy one to learn for a beginner. All right, so everybody check that out. Rich would love to learn it. I'd love to hear Rich play it on his channel. Which reminds me, the student showcase I was talking about, where you're going to submit pieces to me for me to review on the channel. I'm still working on it. I'm writing up exactly how it's going to work and exactly what I'm going to say in the video to make it as clear as possible. But that's still coming. I have been working on it. The Entertainer. Oh, Ryan says, the generalization is fine to what I'm asking. It's killing me about how to know how I write correct intervals and if pitch is either a sharp, flat, double flat, or double sharp. Killing me how to know how to write the correct intervals and if each pitch is either sharp flat, or double sharp. Ryan, can you do this? Can you write me an email, tim@lessonsontheweb.com. Just lessons on the web, not piano lessons on the web. So tim@lessonsontheweb.com. You can also private message me on Facebook with your question again. Try to send me like a screenshot of an example of what you're talking about, because I have an idea on what you might be talking about, but I'm not 100% sure, and we're kind of running towards the end here, so I'd like more time to kind of think it over, and if you could send me an example, that would be even better. So yeah, either private message me on the Facebook through the Piano Lessons on the Web Facebook, or shoot me an email, tim@lessonsontheweb.com. If you send it to @pianolessonsontheweb.com, I'll get it too, but I don't check that one quite as often. Tim, I have a 76 key keyboard. Will that work for taking your course? Yes, absolutely. I would say most of the course, actually, I would say 76 key keyboard will cover 99% of the music out there, because very few, and I went to music school and I've been playing music forever, and actually there's a reason I don't have the last octave. You really only have 76 keys or so visible to you in my camera, like on the, the view, or not the view, but in frame. You only have about 76 keys in frame, and that's because very rarely do I ever have to play notes down here, or very rarely do I have to play notes in the upper octave. So if you have those chopped off and you have 76 keys, you can still play a lot of pieces. The only problem with that is that the 76 key keyboard, you eventually will want to upgrade, because the 88 key keyboards, not only do you have full 88 keys, they're also generally better quality as well. You're very welcome, Ryan. Very welcome, Tony. It's nice talking to you, Tim. Tim, do you talk on bass clef hand stuff more often? Also, please check the stuff I sent you. I will. Also, teach us a little bit of that, please, if you can. So the bass, I do have some bass clef hand stuff. Let me get you guys a link here. That's like the thing of the day here, is getting you guys finding links. But that's what I like to do. I'd rather get you a link where I fully explain something and, really think it out. But if you type in left-hand piano lessons on the web, I'm going to send you this one, but I have quite a few. But this one isn't so much on the bass lines as it is getting your left hand, training your left hand. But yeah, I can definitely do a lesson on bass lines. Oh, you're just talking about bass left-hand stuff, so that should work. All right, any questions that I missed maybe? Any last-minute questions? Because it's about the hour, so we're going to wrap it up here. Remember to go to pianolessonsontheweb.com and check out my courses. But remember, I also want to tell you about that starting Tuesday, this Tuesday the 20th, to the following Tuesday the 27th, there's going to be a Black Friday sale where all the courses, all the course packs will be on sale. So you want to check it out then. Maybe take the time to look it over for now, pick out what courses or packs you might want, and then when the sale starts, just jump right in so you don't forget. Because I know I would forget. I know I'd be like, oh, it's a whole week I can remember, but no, that doesn't happen. Not for me. All right, everybody, it looks like we're good. So everybody, you have a great night. It looks like our stream went really well today, and I had a lot of fun teaching everybody. We are meeting again next Friday and next Sunday, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to see you all come back then, if you can. I understand you might be busy with holiday stuff, and that's fine. But always love to see new and returning students. Also, going to teach us some stuff from the names I sent you. Probably not, to be honest with you, Night Guardian. As far as like teaching you like specific songs, I don't do a whole lot of that on the channel, unless it's like some sort of really famous piano piece that everybody should learn, like for Elise. But I'll look over the stuff you sent me, and I'll make a decision then. Thank you for the live. You're very welcome, Tony. All right, I'm going to do like a little outro so when I piece the video together, it's nice and snazzy. Let me think here. There are mistakes you definitely want to avoid when playing piano, and you want to check them out in this playlist right here. You want to subscribe because we got more lessons coming out all the time, and you don't want to miss a beat. This has been your piano teacher, Tim, here from our class, Piano Lessons on the Web. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next lesson. Thank you so much, says Salasaya. Sorry. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Carol says, later, Gator. See you next time. Have a great Thanksgiving. Yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody, for sure. Have a great night. Thanks, Tim. You're the best. Thank you very much, Nathan. Jerry Gormley says, thanks. You're very welcome. And you're very welcome, everybody. Glad to have you out with us today. Okay, signing out. Tim out. Have a great Thanksgiving.